What up, y'all? Rapping and snacking here, Mirahimi. Eminem dropped a surprise album on us, Kamikaze, and wow. Let's get into it. Revival, his album that dropped at the end of 2018. I was not fond of it. I really wasn't, and he kind of responded to the backlash from reviewers, critics, other rappers, podcast people dissing him. And he responded in such a Chloroseptic remix, which I thought was very good. I also covered that in my Revival review. I'll have it linked up in case y'all haven't seen that one. But yeah, I was like, if Eminem takes all this negative feedback and throws it back at us as he did on Chloroseptic remix, then we'll get some decent content. And we get Kamikaze, and it's kind of in the same vein as the Chloroseptic remix in the sense of his ferocious delivery, him being pissed off, yelling, rapid fire flow. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. So, track 1, The Ringer. Eminem has had a lot of great songs to open up albums. He's had Kill You, Cold Wind Blows, Bad Guy, and quite a few more. Those are some I pull off the top of my head. And this is going to be added to that list of just great opening songs. He says he wants to punch the world in the head. He gets right into it, saying that, what's your talent? Critiquing my talent. Kind of going after reviewers, people like me who bash his last album, and other people, on podcasts and other rappers and people who throw stray shots, He's basically admits that it's a lose-lose for me because if I mention you, then you're going to get more views and stuff, and what am I to gain out of it, He has very witty lines on this one where he says, maybe Stan isn't your cup of tea, maybe your cup's full of syrup and lean. Kind of talking about, well, maybe you don't like the lyrical stories as shown on Stan, his hit single from his Marshall Mathers LP album. Maybe you guys are more into doing drugs and sipping lean and all that stuff. And Eminem's been down that road, he OD'd and thankfully survived. And I'd say over 70% of the album is dedicated to this theme of kind of just taking all that hate that he got from Revival, all the people who bash it, and just spitting it back at everyone. And that's something that you're going to hear all throughout this album. And it is really kind of the re-emergence of Slim Shady, if you must say so himself. And one interesting, actually awesome thing that I picked up on the last, on the back art of this album is where it says executive producers, Dr. Dre and Slim Shady. It doesn't say Eminem, it says Slim Shady, so I thought that was really clever. I love when artists do stuff like that. The greatest, it kind of goes in the same vein, is The Ringer. I think The Ringer was just so, I have to kind of go back, it was so freaking phenomenal, and that beat, although a little trap-oriented, it works so well, especially with Eminem's flow. But it goes very well into The Ringer. It's got a little guitar in it. It's actually, Mike Will has just been great on a lot of these albums I've heard him produce for, so he's someone that now when I see his name on these track lists for production, I'm very excited to see what he's going to do. And on this song, no different. He does well. Eminem, the chorus at first I wasn't too fond of, the greatest in the world. It was a little corny, a little just annoying to hear. But, after I'd say 5 listens, it really grew on me, and I don't even mind it one bit. He, once again, questions the doubters, and now he's saying, like, fuck you motherfuckers. You guys gotta go diamond to even be on my level. And to go diamond, in the US at least, is to sell 10 million copies of one album. So, how many people can do that or have done that? Probably less than 5, right? It's just insane. So then we get into the next song, Lucky You, featuring Joyner Lucas, and I haven't heard much of Joyner Lucas. I saw his song trending a few months back, I'm Not Racist, and I didn't listen to it. I listened to it after his great performance on this, and I was blown away by that amazing song and video, but that's a topic for another day. On this, Joyner starts off great. His flow is awesome. He's talking about not winning awards, saying how he's not really mentioned in any of these, new era artists, and how he's not getting any claims to fame, what have you. And then we get Eminem's verse, which goes on the switched up beat slightly, and he's now talking about, in contrast to Joyner, he's saying he has all the awards, but now he feels like the underdog because his album flops. And he goes in on mumble rappers. He has just such a clever stanza, how he's saying, like, like, all you rappers ain't talking about nothing, blah, 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 what the fuck are you doing? and I just thought that was just so impressive how he went in, and then how Joyner in his chorus he says the N word, Marshall says cracker. So I just think it's just so funny how he's he does that, and then at the end of the song the beat comes back and Joyner and Eminem are together on the chorus. Just such a well executed song. It's like these first three songs together is such a it's you hear these and you're just like, this fool is not playing around. We get to the Paul skit, and these Paul skits are something that you love, you cherish, especially growing up listening to Eminem. You know, you always look forward to the Paul, the Steve Berman, the Ken Kniff skits because they were so funny and provided comedic relief. No different here. Paul's kind of saying like, why are you gonna name your album Kamikaze and have it themed on this whole message of, oh, people didn't like my album, so I'm going to retaliate and all this stuff, and this is about you people hating my last album. But what happens when people hate the album that you made to make about the people who hated your last album? It's like, slippery slope, as he says. And it was funny. I was so happy to see that. Definitely some plus points there. We get our first song about relationships on this one. And Eminem, each album probably has a song about relationships, if you go back and look at it maybe. I really like this beat. I like how he's talking about, he just wants to be normal, but, and all the people that he's in relationships are not normal, but then he ends up saying, being weird is the new norm, or is the norm. It has a similar theme to, or similar feel to the song Love Game off his Marshall Mathers LP 2 album with Kendrick Lamar. I'm really digging the way that the beat switches up, and one thing that I noticed, some of the songs I've seen S1 produce on this song he produced with Eminem, and he produced on Bad Guy, on Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP 2, there are beat switches in both songs, so I wonder if that's kind of him going in Eminem's ear and doing that. I mean, Illa, the producer, was also on the song too, so shout out him, but the beat switch was just incredible. It goes into another skit, which is now M calling Paul, in response to Paul's call to M. And it's nothing short of great. He's saying like, fuck these people who don't understand my music, and he sets it up as if he's actually driving to someone's house, because you hear Siri in the background directing, make a left, make a right, whatever. And then I do have a gripe with this though, because the way that the skit is set up, it seems as if the next song is going to be an assassination attempt, or he's going to go to someone's house and beat them up or do something, some method of torture against this hater, right? But what we get is the next song is a song about D12 and where they're at now and the trials and tribulations they had. So I wasn't too fond of the sequencing there, because it's like, you made this amazing skit kind of setting up your plot to harm someone who's hating on you, and then instead we get actually the most serious song on the album called Stepping Stone, and it's about D12. Although the sequencing was not great, the song is very good, and it's a song we actually needed to kind of hear, what's up with D12, what about, I remember when my band was popping off way back in, what was that, '04 or so, that song was everywhere. But yeah, what happened to them? So this song addresses that, and this song actually puts you right in, I would say, somewhere between 2002 to 2004, because, and you look at the track list and you see, oh, no wonder, because you got Luis Resto and Eminem producing on that song together, and it really gives you that mid-2000s vibe from Eminem with the production and the way he's rapping. I'm very happy he brought, light to this. And he's basically saying that since Proof died, D12 has kind of been struggling and led to its end, really. People had solo careers, they didn't really pop off. Eminem was going through his own things, drug problems, relationship problems, and he couldn't hold them on his shoulder anymore. So D12 is over, but he still loves them, like brothers. So that was just very important for us to hear, as his fans. So we get Not Alike, and this song is probably the one embedded in most controversy as of now, because it is where he goes in response to Machine Gun Kelly, who had said something about his daughter on a Tech Nine song a few years back, which Eminem addresses in this. But it's so clever. He kind of imitates the Bad and Bougie by Migos, and this is just Eminem's way of saying, like, I can do what you guys do. What you guys do is not hard. I'm just going to do it better, and what can you say? You know, Royce is on the song. He has a very clever line. What does he say? I think I got it here. Yeah, Royce says, y'all into stuff like doubled up styrofoam cups on them uppers and downers, where he's essentially talking about, you know, this younger generation where they're just so into doing drugs, and especially this lean epidemic that's just killing so many people. Royce is just so witty, man. I'm so happy that they're working together again, man, and I hope Bad Meets Evil comes out with another one. But Eminem's verse is where he's really addressing stuff, and this verse is basically dedicated to Machine Gun Kelly, where he's saying, like, you don't need a sub machine gun to get at me, Kelly, or we know who you are, Kelly, and he does like a double, triple, whatever entendre, mentioning Tech Nine and Machine Gun Kelly and R. Kelly, and it's just like so amazing, which sparks the diss Rap Devil from Machine Gun Kelly, which I'm not going to get into because I'm sure Eminem's going to respond, and I'll make a separate video for that. But if you guys want to know what I think of the Machine Gun Kelly diss, I think it was actually pretty good, and I hope that Eminem responds. So we'll leave that for another day. But now we get into the self-titled song on the album, Kamikaze. And this one actually at first was titled Fall. Someone messed up and the song titles are switched. So just a quick FYI, this song is Kamikaze, the one before Fall. So this is really, again, what the album is about. You know, he's basically saying fucks 2017. He's taking one of his most harshly criticized songs, Fack, that was released in the mid-2000s, and incorporating that in the chorus, basically saying like, oh, fuck 2017, fuck Revival, or all the hate he got for Revival, and he's incorporating that Fact song, basically just making more fun, right? And that's what it's all about. He's going to crash into everyone, destroy everything, diss everyone, as he's really been doing on this album. This album so far up to this point, aside from Stepping Stone, it's just been filled with fury. Like, just dissing everything. And maybe not normal, I suppose, but he's been dissing anything that comes in his way. And this is actually a song that I wish was at the end of the album, the last track of the album. And I'll tell you why when we get to the last song of the album. But as far as a song, this one is not as catchy as the other ones, but it's still good. Up to this point, I see zero throwaways on the album. Fall, the song right after Kamikaze, it goes actually super well into one another. This one he starts name shouting even more. He shouts Tyler the Creator, or disses, I should say. Disses Tyler the Creator, Charlamagne Tha God, Joe Budden, Lord Jamar, a couple other people I'm probably missing, but he's dissing it. Oh, Academics. And he's dissing and dissing and dissing, and I'd say he's justified in some of them, but, you know, whatever. Lord Jamar, he claps at him saying, you know, he is part of the culture. Just as I'm white doesn't mean I'm not part of the culture. Even though this is black culture, I can be a part of it too. And he makes a play on Elvis as well, mentioning Elvis. Eminem's a wild dude. Mike Will's also on this beat. Eminem claims Shady is back on the song, and I can't say I disagree. I actually really co-sign that statement. He's earned that. I think we can give him that one. Nice Guy. This song features Jesse Reyes, who's also featured on the song after called Good Guy, similar subject matter. And this is the first song that I'm like, do we need this? Maybe we don't need this song. It's a little obnoxious in the chorus with the suck my dick. You know, like, I'm not too fond of the song. I think Eminem's last verse was actually pretty good, but before that verse I was just not super enthralled. But it actually goes well into the song Good Guy, which after listening to both of these back to back, you're just like, why isn't it just like one of those other songs where the beat switched and it was just one song? Because this actually sounds like it could have been one song. So that's a little gripe I have. Good Guy, it kind of has a little more happy, upbeat tempo, but the vocal sample in the back brings it a little down. It's pretty decent. It's not bad. It's not a song that I'm going to be revisiting a whole lot. And now we're into Venom, and this is a song that I don't see anyone talking about. It's a little underrated. It's a sleeper on the album. And I think that this should have either been listed as a bonus track or somewhere in the middle of the album, because since it's part of the motion picture Marvel film Venom, I think it's just kind of flew over or under everyone's radar. This song is actually sick. And who does it again? It's Luis Resto, Eminem on production. This beat is just, like, amazing. Like, it's fucking fire, dude. My God. So we hear this beat. Eminem just comes in, just shredding. He brings it back. He brings it back where he was at Scribble Jam. He's talking about eating filet-o-fish. He's talking about the time where Dre heard his demo, how he was sleeping on Proof's, in Proof's motel or house. And I'm just like, dude, this is like, when he's with Luis Resto, I guess something is triggered in his brain to bring him back a little bit. This song, I wasn't huge on the chorus where he's like Venom and like humming and all that. I wasn't super fond of. Eminem sometimes will butcher a chorus, but after I'd say, a few listens, I just started digging. I didn't care because the way Eminem just comes in each verse with the same opening bars, I'm just like, genius, man. This guy is, he knows how to make songs, and just this anger that we needed him to be on is here. Like I said, a little, I wish Kamikaze, the song, ended the album, but it was just such a great song. I don't care where it is on that one, to be honest with you. Alright, let's rate this thing. Enough talk. I want to say, I see some people talking about Eminem dissing people who are not really on his caliber and whatever, and rightfully so. He's actually been doing that his whole career, though. He's dissed people from pop stars to people who are clearly not on his level to people who actually can pose a threat to him. He's dissed, just to throw some names out there, he's dissed Mariah Carey, he's dissed Christina Aguilera, Moby. On this album, he's dissed Tyler the Creator, Machine Gun Kelly. He's dissed people like Cannabis, Ja Rule, and the list goes on. Everlast, whatever. So this is actually what his career has kind of been founded on. So if you're going to nitpick that means you have to nitpick his whole career, because he's really actually been doing that from the jump, and this is actually staying true to the foundation of who Eminem is and how he started his journey, So I have zero problems with that. The production Eminem really excelled over. I have no problem with some of the trap influence production. I have zero problem with that. And other songs where Luis Resto came in and it didn't really follow that sort of sound, I thought was also great. The songs where I thought didn't fit with the mold as much were, Nice Guy and Good Guy. I also kind of wish they were one song, but that doesn't really matter. I thought about this one, man. If you caught me on the first 3 listens, I'd probably give this something like a 7.5. I may give it an 8. After over a dozen listens, I'm really giving this a 9, dude. 9 planes out of 10, you know what I'm saying? It's one that, I'm not going to say it has to grow on you, because it happened pretty fast, but it's one that you have to just listen and see what he's done with his thought process behind this, and the quick turnaround after Revival to make this was just great. I'm very excited to see how he's going to respond to Machine Gun Kelly particularly. Maybe he'll say another thing to Joe Budden, but I'm happy that we got this Eminem back, and, not to pat myself on the back, but as I stated, we needed people to backlash that album. We needed people to diss that Revival album, because if we're just going to keep praising, we're just going to keep getting that music. Eminem is someone who you can trigger, and although that may not be such a good thing, I'm happy as a spectator and a listener and a fan to be rewarded with such great music. Kamikaze was well worth Revival, I'll tell you that much. So I really want to know what you guys think. What do y'all think? Do you like this album? Do you think Eminem's Kamikaze was a statement that Slim Shady is back? And where do you rank this in his discography? And yeah, just let me know. Just let me know, and most of all, subscribe. I really appreciate that, and give it a thumbs up. So, till next time, y'all.